Welcome back to Whitt Acres. We have a beautiful spring day here, and I'm planning on doing some of the pruning that I didn't finish yesterday. I was thinking about mowing, but we got some rain last night. I actually got caught when I was closing up the barn and then got soaked coming back in. But we have a lot of dandelions blooming out in the yard, and it's making me not even want to mow yet. This is just a field of dandelions going all the way out, yellow and green. It looks nice, and it's really good for all the pollinators that are out this early. Today I want to try and take some cuttings from the trees and root them so I can grow new trees this year. They're all fast growing trees. They're actually going to be from 3 different kinds of willows that I have around the property. And willows also have the growth hormone running through the tree already, so you don't actually have to use any. I might use them for one of the methods, and then I have one method that I really want to try that I haven't been able to try until recently. So we'll see that one at the end. And I'm going to try and get some cloned trees off the property here. We have a mix of clouds and sun today, so it's really nice with a breeze. I have my snips, but I'm also going to need a bucket of water to get started. Once you cut it, you really want to get it right in water so it doesn't dry out at all. Oh, this will do. We got the chicken's egg song going off right now up at the barn. Beautiful. It's a lot nicer than all the road noise I get around the property. The first tree that we're going to be pruning back right now, we don't really have to prune back, but I want to cut it back just to strengthen up the branches as well as to get some cuttings off of it to root. It's down here in the vegetable garden, and it's going to be a willow hybrid. This is a willow hybrid, and I believe I got it as a bare root tree. And whenever I planted it, I didn't have this fence line here, and the deer came and ate it back to a nub. Last year I got this fence line in, so it was able to grow up, and it's doing really well. So the branches that I want are just smaller than a number 2 pencil. You don't want to go too thin, but you don't want to go too thick either. But before I do any cutting, I want to put water in this. And I walked all the way down here, and I didn't bring any water. This is why I put this rock here, make easy access. And the beach for you too, puppy. Yeah, the beach for you. So I got as many cuttings as I wanted, but the tree still needs to be pruned back. It's way too floppy to withstand all the new growth that it's going to get. So I'm just going to take a bunch more cuttings. You don't need to take the tips of the branches. You can actually cut lower on one of these big branches and then take 12-inch sections all the way through. Seems harsh, and honestly it feels harsh, but hopefully it's going to create a stronger tree for this year's growth. Just going to set these here in the pond for now. Yeah, the pond's got a lot of algae in it, but that's not going to hurt anything. I'm going to leave these in here so they can stay moist, real nice and moist, and all the small cuttings as well, just so I can carry around the pitcher with me. Where's my snips? Lost my snips. Had everything in my hand. There they are. Gonna need those. The next tree is in the front garden. It's actually a corkscrew willow, and it has some yellow bark on it. I use it for some wreath making this year. So I'm gonna get some cuttings off of this, see if I can grow some more of those. And I'm gonna just cut them off and bring them over to the pond. That'll do for now. The last willow I want to get some cuttings off is my black Niger willow. I'm not sure, black willow or Niger willow, black Niger, something like that. It's a cousin of the weeping willow, it just doesn't have the weeping habit. It is supposed to be a stronger willow and not prone to splitting as much as the weeping willow is though. The hyacinths are smelling beautiful right now. I have a couple of these black willows and they're growing out here in the nursery. They do need to come out because they're getting way too big. Good boy, puppy. You find some shade. So those two willows need to be dug out of there with the backhoe and transplanted to their final spot in the landscape. They're getting just way too big for the nursery and they're tying up too much root space. Oh, dang it. So I got my cuttings off the trees and in some water. Now I'm going to cut them to 12-inch lengths, get all the leaves stripped off of them, and then show you how I'm going to start re-rooting some of these. Maybe I should mention, I've never actually seen this done before like this. I know you can order the willows like this and they'll come like 4 pencils tied together with a paper towel around the bottom. And that's how I actually got this willow hybrid, I believe. This is the one that came that way. Hey, but no, you know, it was the black willow that came that way. I know it can work, so I'm just going to be trying it this way, and we'll see if it works for me. Hey, bud, I need to get on the other side of you. I have a tray behind. You're in the way. I have a tray behind Puppy here just with some containers in it, empty, and I'm putting water in it just so whenever it's kind of just like a bunch of plastic vases, I can stand up the sticks and the bottom of the sticks will be in water. Hope you can hear me. Hey, bud. It's actually starting to sprinkle a little bit. Most of these ones are good to go already. I know the pond's dirty, but I still enjoy being down here by the pond with the sound of the waterfall. I have a lot of the sticks in the containers right here so they can sit inside. I'm gonna fall. So I have the sticks here in the containers sitting in some water just like a flower in a vase, and I'm going to try and root them this way, but I'm going to also try a low maintenance way that I didn't have access to before I put the pond in this year. It's actually starting to rain here right now, but one of my plans is to use some of the sticks over here at the beach. I have this beach here, and this area of the beach always stays wet. It's always wicking water in from the pond. So what I'm going to do is stick some of the sticks inside the sand there, and it's going to keep them constantly moist. It's also going to keep them out of being in direct water. It's just going to be in wet soil, and I won't even have to wet that soil because, like I said, it's just constantly wicking up air and staying nice and wet. Well, it's raining now. I was able to sit through the first couple sprinkles that came through, but this is a little past the sprinkle. I'm going to call it a full-blown rain. So after this rain passes, I'm going to take those sticks, I'm going to stick them right into the beach area with a little bit of space in between them, and then the rest of them are going to go into the greenhouse, and I'll keep them wet, and I'll keep them misted and keep the bottom trough of the tray wet as well, and I'll just keep you updated throughout the videos as I do. This will be a good time to go to the greenhouse. I have to thin some tomato trays, and I want to show you the progress of the other tomatoes that I thinned without actually killing them. So out here in the greenhouse, we have a lot of tomatoes that are in need of thinning. When thinning tomatoes, you typically have two options. You can dig it out or you can cut it off. So I'm just going to be expanding on one of those options. Instead of digging it out and disturbing the roots of the other one, and instead of cutting it off and letting it die, what I did was cut it off and replant it. I've done this before with tomatoes that have broken off after they've gotten bigger. Once they were a foot tall, I've taken off the top 4 inches and replanted that as a stem, just replanted the whole stalk into the ground, and that's been able to re-root and grow a whole new tomato plant. But I wasn't sure if these smaller tomato starts were going to be strong enough to be able to regrow after being cut off. So I did a little test with 6 of them, and as we see here, all 6 of them not only have survived, they've actually started to regrow and get bigger. They're twice the size that they were whenever I put them in there. They look like this when I cut them off, and now they look like this, a lot bigger. So if you don't like killing tomato plants whenever you thin them, try and regrow them. Now I knew I was going to be thinning my tomatoes, so I planted mine in each corner of the cell, giving me ample room to be able to slide something in between them and lift it out without disturbing the other one's root system too much. But the 6 that I did the experiment with were more like this set here, where they were really close and tight together to where you wouldn't be able to get one without disturbing the other. So I have this tray here of 48 cells ready to go with seed starting mix. So I'm going to start separating out some doubles in this tray, and I also have a squash tray that I just sowed recently, and they're just starting to pop up, so it's a perfect time to get in there between them and pop them out so you can resow them. Squash don't like to be transplanted as much as tomatoes will recover. Tomatoes will bounce back a lot quicker than the squash will, so you really want to try not to disturb the root system of squash. But I had some older seeds, so I wasn't sure how they were going to germinate, so I sowed 2, and it looks like I still had some pretty good germination rate. Puppy, it's raining. You can come in the greenhouse if you want to, bud. Come on, buddy. Yeah, there's no rain in here. Yeah. Some of these I need to help out and just slide off the shell of the seed just so they can open up their leaf a little bit sooner and not start stretching out. Just be real gentle and they'll slide right off. You don't want to force it, so if it's not ready, don't do it. I also have the castor bean all here popping up, and it's getting stuck in its paper. So sometimes I need to pop that paper off so it's able to open up its leaves and branches here. This one's all tangled up. Let those just get opened up. They're getting big already. I do like being in the greenhouse with Echo Pup when it's raining. Huh, buddy? So the rain really started to pick up there. I did get one whole tray done. It may not seem like much, but it does turn into a whole garden by summer. Echo Pup is ready to get on out there. That's gonna be all for this one. I have to go take Draco to camp. If you want to see some more gardening videos, make sure to subscribe down below. Hit that like button before you leave. Check out my description for all the other things you can get from Whitt Acres. And you can see me and Echo on the next one. Thanks for watching.